Happy 17th Sunday in Ordinary Time. My name is Michelle Coeur. Thank you for joining me. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Come, Holy Spirit, come. Boom. Holla at you, girl, if you loved the first reading, because it's incredible. You ever heard of the compound effect or atomic habits? The thing is that God did it first. He told us about it first. It's here in Genesis. Genesis, the first book. God is going to go destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, which are terrible places, not the kind of place you want to hang out. And Abraham goes to bat for these gross ass people. He says, what if there's 50 good people in there? And God says, for the sake of 50, I'll spare them. And then Abraham begins to whittle the number down till he gets to 10. And God says, if there's 10 good people there, I will spare the city. We can take this and apply it to our lives in terms of our internal person. When we're in the worst state of mind, the throes of whatever neurodiversity we live with, particularly if we're in the kind of headspace where we are exhibiting the behavior at which we are most wanting to get away from. The mindset is usually this despair. Oh, frick, I did it again. I swore I was never going to do it again. Here I am, and I'm trash. So we can think of that whole situation as the city of Sodom and Gomorrah. It's bad. It's bad news bears. It's not healthy. We have identified this as a sinful, bad, not good behavior that's destructive to us and to our communities, to our world. And God isn't looking for the whole city to be redeemed. He is looking for the 50 people in that city, and he's going to spare the whole thing. If not 50, 40, 35. Do I hear 17? Do I hear 10? 10. 10. That's the number they land on. Your struggle has a population of 1 million people. 1 billion people. I don't know. A lot of people. And God is looking for 10 good people for the redemption of the whole place. And that is where atomic habits, compound effect, that sort of stuff happens. You might be in the pit of despair, but if you can find the 10, so to speak, good people in that despair, there's redemption there. There's hope, there's healing, there's all the good stuff. My craving hit and I pushed it off for an additional 5 minutes than I normally do. It might be that you felt a lot of anxiety in your chest and you took 5 deep breaths. You can't move your body because you are so drenched in depression, and so you shook your arm just like this and you counted to 15. That might be what 10 people looks like for you. And in the end, you might think, yeah, but I still did the thing. In the end, the results were the same. The results are not what matters. It's that little effort you put in. That matters. That makes the difference. You start with 10 and then you start to work your way up. So I shook my arm for 15 seconds, and now I'm gonna also shake my leg for 15 seconds. After I shake that, I'm gonna just go around to all 4 parts of my body, and then I'm gonna sit up. Things so simple as that. Just to kind of build momentum behind each other, and it's that momentum that's going to help make big changes in your life. We love that. If you read a little more of Genesis, there weren't 10 good people in Sodom and Gomorrah, and the whole place did get destroyed. But there was Lot, and he was good, and God did spare his life and get him and his 2 daughters out of the city to another city. He made a lot of exceptions to get him out there. His family was kind of weird. If you don't know the story, I'm going to let you read it yourself. God changes all the rules so that you and him can be united. He did that for Lot. He told Lot to go out to the mountains, and Lot said, oh my gosh, if I go to the mountains, I'm going to die. Can't I just go to this little city? And God was like, okay, fine, you can go to this little city. He makes all of these exceptions in order to be with you. All Lot had to do was ask and say, I don't want to go there, I want to go here, can I go here? And God allowed it. God is consistent. We read that in the second reading with Paul when he says, even when you were dead in transgressions and the uncircumcision of your flesh, he brought you to a life along with him, having forgiven us all our transgressions, obliterating the bond against us. Because there are all these little rules kind of hanging us in place, but God would break every single rule for you and him to be united. And he wants to be part of your life, and he's just asking for 10 good people in the sea of your problems. So we turn to Christ. He, in his own turn, picks us up and carries us. He does 90% of the work if we just start to open ourselves to him. And it's not perfect. It's not supposed to be perfect. And that can be a real pitfall to say it only counts if it looks this one way. That's not true. That's not what God says. What counts is open your heart, listen to God, have a conversation with him, and ask for what you want persistently, consistently. Ask and ye shall receive. If you're feeling stuck, maybe your expectations aren't reflective of the truth of God. Maybe you're holding yourself to a standard too high, too soon for where you actually are. And it can really be our ego that keeps us away from God. It's not God keeping himself away from us. We learn to celebrate and be grateful for these tiny things. And in doing that, we are building our gratitude align with our progress in life. So if we can just let go of wanting things to be exactly perfect today and hang on to the truth of the Lord, the truth that the Lord he already has broken the bonds. He isn't keeping anything separate from us. There's no need to suffer double time. Just trust that we are enough. Really, that can be and should be the stance you take in those hard times when you're like, I have nothing. And God says, 10 good people? You can say, my 10 good people today is going to be one finger touching you, Christ, believing that though I feel like trash and I'm not enough and not worth it and bad, that's not true. You have died on the cross and give generous gifts, and you are doing it now, not later, right now. My mom was telling me this morning that we suffer double time. God has done the suffering for us. There's two kinds of suffering. There's the kind that helps us grow, like exercise, where you suffer when you're lifting your weights but your muscles grow big. And then the suffering that's just destructive, which is if you took a knife and you started to just cut and cut and cut away at your arm, purely destructive. There is no helpfulness in that. Find out if your suffering is the kind that is helping you grow or if it's the kind that's destroying you. Because if it's the kind that's destroying you, Christ died on the cross to destroy it. Something is wrong there. You aren't supposed to suffer like that. That's not what you're called to do. We're called to life. We are called to living. That's so lovely. Isn't that lovely? God is a good God. He loves you. Thank you for being part of my community. Thank you for letting me be part of your community. It is a joy and honor to share these thoughts with you. I'll see you back here next week. In the Father and Son and the Holy Spirit. Bye.